Hey everyone, Sarah here at Three Little Potters. I'm doing a kiln opening today. I'd hoped to be doing bisque, but I just had a lot of miscellaneous stuff still on the shelf, so it's going to be a mix match of things and clays. I think there might even be some dark star clay from the way before in here, so let's get pulling. Top shelf. This first one is it's Night Glaze on Rue Stoneware. And then I did a coat of river birch here, a band of eggplant sort of from here to here, and then chun seafoam from here to here. Possibly a little bit of dirty snow too. Looks good. This is kind of an ugly shaped bottle. It's been sitting on my shelf for forever. I just thought I'd finally fire it. It's got some sunrise, it's got some shallot, and it's got some dove gray on there as well. So it's not the prettiest. It's not horrible. It's just, I don't know. I didn't like the shape after I threw it, but it was kind of like, ah. All right. This is shallot and Bermuda on the inside, and it's got a dip of cream on that top edge, and this is on the speckled turtle clay. This was a chun seafoam over white, and I believe it has blue opal and then a little bit of cream on that rim. Some of these are new combos for me, and it's always a guess when you're dealing with something new a little bit. Strontium gloss and variegated dove. Uh-oh. Coastal blue strikes again. That was coastal blue with a little bit of cream on the top edge, and that was shell pink poured on the inside. I feel like that shell pink was doing something cool with those two. But, I watered down coastal blue quite a bit too to see if that would sort of help, but this was autumn purple with white opal on the rim. White opal is another new glaze for me, so this was Studio White and Dove. I think this one also had a little bit of cream, although it doesn't really show. It just kind of looks like a nice variegated blue. Autumn purple over Studio White with, I believe, white opal. If it is, it's really pretty. So yeah, white opal's a new glaze I'm testing out, so we'll see. River birch, and what else did I put on here? I think it was just Laguna Nebula blue over the river birch. I don't know why I was thinking it was going to do something more outstanding than that, but it's just kind of plain. Purple aster over raspberry mist. And this was Fruit of the Vine over Studio White on Dark Star Clay. And definitely some glaze imperfections there. Shipwreck and Eggplant. This was Night and chun seafoam and Snow. I think also a little bit of floating blue on that, just a little teeny bit. This one, it seems like, okay, it didn't attach to the shelf, but there's glaze spots around it on the shelf, so it looks like a lump slide off, but there's no empty spot on the cup. I guess it healed over. This was a dip of cream, and then it was shipwreck and seaweed on this cup on brown bear clay. Delft blue opal and a little bit of dirty snow. It's pretty. As is this. This is blue opal and snow over studio. No, it's over cream, I believe. Blue opal and snow over cream. The majority of the whites in this load are cream, but because I haven't really used that glaze widely, it's subtle. It's a subtle difference from studio white. This was Rising Sun Chang with Lynette Opal over top. Strontium gloss with Dove, but it's got a little imperfection. It looks like something I did when I was making it. Waterfall brown with Lynette Opal on that rim. And same with this one. I think it's a little prettier here with the shape. Sort of giving that other brown where it breaks on the rim. This is Delft with Chun Seafoam. It is Chun Seafoam and Floating Blue and Snow, and I'm just not sure exactly why it looks quite like that. A little bit muted, maybe too much floating blue in comparison to the Chun Seafoam. This is a variegated Dove Gray. A little bit of strontium on that rim, I believe. Ooh. Okay, I think this is River Birch and Floating Blue. That's vibrant. Okay, I'll have to try to repeat that. Yeah, that's a good new variation on my normal. This is Eggplant and Shipwreck overnight, and some spots that are less than great there. Looks like that eggplant was pulling away on the night. This was White Opal with just one layer of Chun Seafoam over top. A little smaller than my normal ring dishes, but I kind of wanted to just throw that combo in the very end. Delft Floating Blue and Dirty Snow. Same combo there. Some really interesting centers to some of these already. Coastal Blue and Dove. That mushroom, I don't know if I can sell it. Maybe I can sand it flat. This was a mushroom, and what I was doing here was wiping off my brush. So I had like a lot of stroking coats. So it's a variety of stroking coats. Bluegrass, some raspberry mist, some My Blue Heaven, some the speckled blues, some shipwreck, and some dirty snow. So sort of just a glazed dump mushroom. And this was on my shelf. I didn't know what it was. Clearly I guessed wrong. I hoped it was taupe, and I put some Chun Seafoam on the rim, but in fact it looks like it was maybe alabaster, and I put some Chun Seafoam just on the rim. If I'd known it was such a plain glaze, I would have probably done a more complete coat of something on that, but I didn't. All right, I'm taking out this half shelf of death. Okay, I've got a leg stuck to it. All right, I'm just going to keep going with this. Okay, this was Speckled Turtle, and it was a dip of Coastal Blue and a dip of cream to here, and it definitely ran all the way, and then a little bit extra Pretty on the inside though. Still some imperfections with that speckled turtle. Does look nice over the chattering on the bottom. But yeah. Eggplant and shipwreck over, is it over cream? I think it is over cream. And it does have a band of dirty snow on that rim. Micro cerulean. Some pretty good crystal growth, a little matte in the center of that mushroom. This would be micro jade. Coastal blue. Actually, these may in fact be nebulosa. It's either coastal blue and cream or nebulosa. We'll see as we go down which ones we end up with. Okay, this was white opal with lavender mist. And that's doing something really interesting where the lavender mist pools. So white opal looking a little bit more like a clear glaze on this clay than a white glaze. That's pretty. I think the shape of this is really helping this glaze combo, which has sort of a natural ombre effect. And that is strontium gloss with manganese and variegated dove gray. Both of these are dipping glazes that I mix up. Feel free to ask for those recipes. Yeah, super happy with that. That is the strontium gloss at a higher specific gravity than usual, and it really seems to love it. Delved with a dip of cream on the rim. Teal drift on brown bear. Strontium gloss and dove. Could have gone a little lighter with the dove there. Okay. All right, so why are we getting that line of brown? That's interesting. So I think it's over cream and it's a dip of dove. Interesting line at the edge. This was Storm, and I put white opal and just a little bit of snow over it. I'm not sure, I have a kind of a thin patch right there. I think that's probably my fault though. And that Storm bowl had been sitting on the shelf for, I don't know, 6 months or so. I think this is Nebulosa. Okay. It's cream. And I believe it is Spectrum's Tiger's Eye, but I was expecting a brighter color. But it is brown bear clay, so sometimes you can get a muted result. It is very pretty. I was just expecting a little brighter. Again, raspberry mist and purple aster. These are around 300 degrees right now. I expect that'll brighten up a little bit as it sits. Eggplant and river birch. Next shelf. I'm gonna look here. Ugh, look, see, that's where that one where it's like bubbling off the edge. Terrible. So I need to grind my posts. They all have so much glaze on them that they're sticking, and one of them just smashed a pot. So let's see. And that is where it fell. That would have been nice. It was cute. Fruit of the Vine over Studio White with Dirty Snow. I don't even want to throw it away. I like that. I gotta get new kiln furniture, I guess. All right, let me. I'll let you look at this one too. Hold on. So, looking pretty good otherwise. That's kind of interesting. This is Sand and Sea and Fuzzy Peach. Bermuda poured on the inside, and that is on Speckled Turtle. My Blue Heaven and Dirty Snow over Cream. This was, oh, this is really pretty. Oh, that's really nice. Oh, I just placed an order too. Sorry, I like this Sand Dollar glaze by Mako more than I thought I would. And it's actually got some variegation and a beachy feel to it. And I just placed an order. Now I'm not going to have enough for the minimum. Okay, so what we did here was Sand and Sea, Sand Dollar, dip of Bermuda down to here, and then I did blue hydrangea over the top and a bit of Dirty Snow on that rim. Inspired by Kim at Unseth Pottery. She's been doing this combo with sort of, I know she's doing sandstone, and then she's doing blue hydrangea over like a cobalt blue glaze and some flux. But yeah, that's really pretty over Bermuda. Another attempt with, don't laugh at me, stoned denim. This is an incredibly thick coat of stone denim to get that much coverage. And it kind of worked. It's kind of pretty. I poured stone denim basically on this. And then I did a rim dip of cream on it. And the chattering does look pretty. And that speckled turtle clay. Just have a few of the speckled turtle pieces left, and then it's bye-bye for that clay. I have a review video on speckled turtle, and I think I'm gonna post it, even though my results were up and down, and in the end I've decided to not continue on with speckled turtle. But yeah, I think this was blue opal with a big dip of cream. Just too many surface imperfections from the speckling for me to deal with, is the short answer to that. But yeah, in the video I go over some different ways to try to heal over manganese speckles. And floating sunset with Dirty Snow on the rim. That's good. Behaving itself this time. I do love that combo. Okay, that's attached to the kiln shelf. Well, cookie. It's attached to a cookie. Well, I'm not going to work on it now. It was Laguna's Sea Gold over cream. And my Sea Gold and Desert Sunset are also just, they've gotten to a point where they're not adhering really well. And I was having this trouble with cream in general. When I was putting things over the cream, it seemed like a chalkier glaze. So layering over it was very difficult to get the other glaze to want to sort of stick to it. Studio White's a lot easier to work with in that regard. So, but yeah, this was Desert Sunset by Laguna over it. But some problems there, obviously. Sunrise. I believe that's over cream. I'm not sure where I'm getting all these little teeny brown specks and a green speck. I don't know if that was dust from the kiln shelf above that maybe fell down. Tiger's Eye over Studio White on Brown Bear. This was Strontium Gloss with a dip of cream. I think that Dove Gray looks a little better on that. Good to know the combo though. think that's Sunrise on this mushroom, and White Opal as a base. Power Turquoise and Shipwreck. I'm sorry, I think it's Shipwreck and Seaweed actually. I don't think I put Power Turquoise on this one. And again, Laguna's Sea Gold over cream. Dove Gray with Raspberry Mist. Oh, that's a cute one. This is Raspberry Mist with just a spot of purple aster, but it came out really cute. Micro Ash. I don't know, but I don't like it. No. You know what it is? It's Stone Denim. My hatred for Stone Denim continues. Copper Float. That looks pretty. Yeah, that one's really pretty. Seaweed over White Opal. Satin Patina with cream. This is my Nebulosa. This is Nebulosa with a heavy helping of Dirty Snow. Actually, I don't know if you can see that on the inside. It's nice. It's doing nice things. Blue Opal, and I think I just maybe didn't want the flocks or should have gone darker. I don't know. Blue Opal, a little too streaky. White Opal with purple aster. White Opal is working. I don't know how it's working as a base glaze. I'm not sure if I like it. In some cases, it's kind of the same as Studio White or worse. I'm trying to get a feel for it. This is My Blue Heaven over White Opal. It almost looks like a clear glaze or something. Nebula Blue by Laguna. This is Eggplant and River Birch. I think there's a little bit of Shipwreck on there too. And this was Floating Sunset with a little bit of cream on that rim before I put a tiny bit of Dirty Snow. Floating Sunset and just a little bit of cream there. I think it looks a little better with Dirty Snow than cream. Dove Gray with Blue Opal. Dove Gray with Raspberry Mist. Fruit of the Vine with Dirty Snow. Tiger's Eye over River Birch, and that's Spectrum's Tiger's Eye rather than Mako's. Raspberry Mist over White Opal. This is Bluegrass. It's a stroking coat, and I've got a little bit of snow on that. Laguna's Sea Gold over, I think, White Opal there. And this, I believe, is River Birch and Sea Gold. was Nebulosa with Dirty Snow. And Floating Sunset. All right, one shelf down. Okay, this is the next shelf down, and you can see the glaze review this week is going to be on Aurora Breeze, and those are all some Aurora Breeze tests over on that side. I will try to remember them, but if you want definites, watch that video later on. I would say right off the bat that Aurora Breeze has a finer speckle to it than Ocean Drift, so that's interesting. So this is just Aurora Breeze over Brown Bear. Wow. I'm seeing almost no color. I was expecting it to be more of a purple overtone, but I believe this is cream with Aurora Breeze over it and some snow on that rim. I like it. It's just almost very pale. Aurora Breeze on Speckled Turtle. Something on that rim, maybe shallot. Again, I'm not really seeing too much purple. Maybe a hint of it there? That's a little bit more. Still very light in color. This is Aurora Breeze over Tove, and that was an accidental sort of thing that I did, but it's pretty. The Aurora Breeze doesn't seem to be affecting the color much, though. Let's see what else we've got here. Maybe it's pretty. Aurora Breeze with something purple, maybe an eggplant. Hard to say. Aurora Breeze on Rue Stoneware. So I'm not seeing any glaze imperfections. I'm just not seeing a ton of color out of this glaze, so very interesting. Aurora Breeze. Oh, this is nicer. This is it over either cream or Studio White. And I'm definitely getting a little more of that, like a pinky peachy color there. That's nice. That looks like Laguna Nebula Blue with Aurora Breeze over it. Wow, Nebula Blue's been like the surprise of the month. It's been like, as far as the combos go, yeah, Nebula Blue for the win. Wonder if that's Raspberry Mist, and it looks good. I did these tests a long time ago, though, so I'm gonna have to look back at my video to figure out what I've done. I think this is Magenta Sky and River Birch. I'm not sure why, but I think that's what I did there. I guess it could be Magenta Sky and Aurora Breeze. It's in the right spot in the kiln for it to be another strange combo. I think this is Autumn Purple with Aurora Breeze over top. I think, maybe. It's a mystery. This was Dove Gray with Aurora Breeze, and it definitely almost disappeared entirely. I think it's night. It's night with aurora breeze and dirty snow, maybe. Okay. I think this is soft red with dirty snow. Oh, okay. I think this is Delft and cream. It's pretty up at the top. It turned it kind of a darker blue, but very wispy feathering. Sand dollar, blue hydrangea, and Bermuda again. Same combo as before, although a little less successful here. I needed to go thicker with the hydrangea in that combo. Sand and sea and fuzzy peach again on speckled turtle. Bermuda on the inside. I just did a sort of a set like that. That really is quite pretty. Just on that side. I don't know if that's showing well. Sorry about my dogs. These were some chunks of fuzzy peach. I was trying to use up the bottom of the container. This was the Tim Stark Celadon. It had a spot of crawl on it last time, and I put just a little bit of shipwreck over it, and it seems to have filled in that bare spot. Bermuda, sand and sea, and some floating blue. And some fuzzy peach too. Actually, you know what? I think it's actually blue opal, not floating blue. If you were trying to mimic that. Sunrise over cream with river birch over top. So I'm not showing any crawling. I don't know if you remember my test of a floating spectrum glaze over the cream glaze. I had that one little spot of crawl where it went really thick. So far, I haven't seen any more crawl spots on that, so that's good. I believe that's raspberry mist over cream, and it looks almost red. Surprised with that. Very red. Weird. And this is the strontium gloss over the cream. Purple haze on this mushroom. I believe this is purple haze over cream on the brown bear clay. And well, that's just very, very blue. It's midnight over cream. Expecting something, I guess, a little different than that, but it is very dark blue. Blue hydrangea over night with dirty snow on brown bear. And this is that blue hydrangea over my Delft glaze with sand dollar on the bottom. Dove gray with midnight on that rim. Strontium gloss, and I think a little bit of the cream on that one. This is, I think this was a refire. It was magenta sky and night, and I think I put a little bit of river birch. I don't see the specks on it, but it did heal in the crawl spot. So some imperfections on this Laguna Desert Sunset. And this was a test. And what was it a test of? It was like a really wonky dish to begin with. I must have not had much faith in whatever I was testing. I think that's just white opal over sunrise over studio white. Midnight and Dove. Eggplant over cream. Last shelf looks pretty good. Loving some of those seaweed pieces down there. Maybe that. This is Delft on speckled turtle, and it's got blue hydrangea and snow on the outside. A little bit of a, it's filled back in, but you can see that sort of almost like a crawl spot. It's pretty though. I don't know. I feel like I keep doing the same colors for my planters lately, so I was trying to sort of try out a different color palette, but I think some lighter ones, maybe in that beachy combo. I think that's more the spring vibe I'm looking for. This is Shallot and Power Turquoise on Speckled Turtle. And that came out really pretty. Power Turquoise here. I think a bit of seaweed as well. Kind of leaving that chattering raw. Obviously some dirty snow as well. Yeah, that's pretty. Ooh, that's pretty as well. Seaweed over cream on that roux stoneware. That came out really without flaw. Power Turquoise and Seaweed over cream on Brown Bear. Again, Sand Dollar, Blue Hydrangea, and Bermuda with snow. Dirty snow. And that is underwhelming. Some underwhelming storm cloud over cream. I think that storm cloud looked a little better over my studio white than that. And this is Floating Blue over cream on Speckled Turtle with dirty snow. It's cream and it's magenta sky with a little bit of sunrise, I guess, at the top. Weird. Both of those I would expect to be brighter in that combo, but kind of muted. Papaya over cream on Speckled Turtle. Power Turquoise, a little bit heavier than the seaweed on this Brown Bear. Tim Stark Celadon over cream. It's a pretty combo. Sunrise and Shallot over cream on Dark Star. And the usual imperfections. Oh, I am feeling very done with the speckled clays. I think the speckled clays are going to be in timeout for a while. I think this should be papaya on night, but looks more like autumn purple. It's very pretty regardless. This is Power Turquoise over cream. Teal Drift over cream. Okay. Power Turquoise over cream. That's Bougainvillea over cream. Actually, I'm sorry. I think that's Raspberry Mist over cream. Magenta Sky with Dirty Snow over cream. Kind of looks like a monster in the middle there. Nimbus over cream. That's a nice one. Storm Cloud over cream. Again, I think I like that one better on Studio White. Papaya over cream. This is a Floating Celadon over cream. Blue Hydrangea over cream with Dirty Snow. Floating Blue over cream with Dirty Snow. Very gray blue there. This is Dove with a dip of strontium gloss on the rim. Power Turquoise and Seaweed over cream with a little bit of Dirty Snow. Goodness. I think this is Cream on Brown Bear Clay. And I'm not sure what else I put on there. Something to give it the blue. Possibly Rising Sun Chang. A Sunrise over cream. Autumn Purple over cream. Sorry, I know this is a lot, guys. And this one was before my dog started barking, which was Teal Drift and Dirty Snow over cream. This is again Autumn Purple over cream. Norse Blue over cream crawled. Blue Hydrangea with Delft. I got a little bit of a crawl there too. So I noticed no crawling on the Bermuda glaze. That was the Kitten's Clear base with Bermuda stain. The Hansen, this Delft glaze is the Hansen base with Delft stain. So I do think my theory about Kitten's Clear being a little bit nicer to work with as far as layering with other glazes might be sort of gaining more evidence that that is the case. So this will probably fix in a refire though. This was the Bougainvillea on cream that crawled last time, and I think I put a swipe of something darkish in the middle there. What is it in the middle? I didn't think I put something dark on it. Dove and Strontium Glass. This is Seaweed and Cream. I think I put Power Turquoise in here too. And this is Blue Hydrangea Overnight with some Dirty Snow mixed in. Okay, that was it. Sorry for all the barking, and but yeah, we made it through. I think my favorite was probably this cup. I like the variations here. I think I'll probably do that combo some more. Has a nice beachy vibe to it, and that is definitely what I am feeling as winter like is clinging to us here in Maine. I just want it to melt off and be warm again, but it's going to take a little bit longer. I think we even have a little bit of snow left in our forecast, but very soon. So upcoming this week, I'm going to have the Aurora Breeze glaze review for you. I'm probably going to have the speckled turtle review. And Vever has sent me some new equipment to review. So all of those fun things will be coming up. I also have a new clay to test. So a lot of stuff in the mix. I'd love it if you liked and subscribed so that you can be notified about these new videos. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.